I want to start by asking you all a question. How many of us feel that the rules which govern our lives, which control what we aspire to, how we interact, and even how we see ourselves, end up controlling how our lives are organized? Now, imagine a world where these rules aren't inherent truths in the search for safety or peace, but fragile constructs created by a patriarchal society. Constructs which aren't given the equal ground to dialogue and end up compromised for the sake of acceptance and safety. Sexuality and gender is an excellent example of this, being reduced to a political debate or an uncomfortable conversation. We can see a clear history of how these rules have affected communities both socially and legally. The woman's right to vote was legalized in 1918. Homosexuality was decriminalized in 1969. The homosexual military ban was lifted in 1992. Sexual orientation was added to the Canadian Charter of Rights in 1996. And same-sex civil marriage was legalized only 19 years ago. From the beginning of patriarchal society, we have placed those which we consider the sexes into conformational boxes. Women meant to wear dresses, men to wear pants, hairstyles, colors, even toys are assigned from birth. And those who simply do not wish to conform with the normal are then perceived negatively by society. So I ask you, if society hadn't created these conformational boxes to begin with, would there be a need for a political debate on these individuals' rights? I mean, 40% of all homeless youth in Canada identify as LGBTQ+. And the rates for transgender youth are even more alarming. 2/3 of all transgender youth experiencing suicidal thoughts. 20% of them acting on them. And 46% having self-injured. Now, these aren't just statistics, they're lived realities, painful truths that are caused by our society. But anyways, I want to tell you all a story, a big piece of my puzzle. I'm 17 and I was born in Bogota, Colombia, having the privilege to be raised by my grandmother and mother, and shortly after that, my dad came into my life and legally adopted me. Now, my Canadian-born father is now in his 60s, two very different generations, right? And despite the similar access to the level of education we have had, we still have a separation in perspectives, a difference of opinion. This has evidently led to some arguments, discussions, and generally emotionally driven conversation. In many social settings, individuals can choose to distance themselves from these uncomfortable conversations, creating a social bubble in which ideologies are shared. But I love my dad, so distancing yourself from family isn't always an option. Because of this, I have learned to appreciate this division of opinion, even if arguments tend to end in an agree to disagree resolution. Because of this, my goal tonight isn't to change your mind or force an opinion down your throat, but rather to offer a shift in perspective, to point out that regardless of any rules, respect is the basis for humanity. That is a stone-cold truth. Acknowledging the way someone wishes to be respected, referred to, acknowledged, or spoken to is simply manners. Just as our parents have taught us and their parents before them, it is as easy as saying please and thank you. So, one action at a time, together, we can create a society in which both our adults and youth can thrive, looking beyond our biology and focusing on our humanity. Thank you.